Hi everybody, I'm Chrissi Kelly from AppScent and welcome to day 3 of online smell training. So I'm speaking to you live from my kitchen and I'm so glad to see you today. It's really important that you make smell training a habit if you're going to stick with it for a long time. As we're in the beginning of this program, I thought I would just give you a little bit of information about kits before we get going. There's a reason why the kit is made the way it is. I started talking about smell training on social media back in 2015. And at one point, I got a group of people together who agreed to help me. I sent them little boxes full of different kind of delivery methods, if you like, for smell training. And everyone agreed that this jar is the best method. It gives you the most confidence that you can get that the way you're doing the smell training is the right way of doing it. And I know that for a lot of people, they just want to ask over and over, am I doing this right? Am I getting this right? So using jars, using jars will give you the most intense experience of smell that you can get, much more than you would get sniffing directly from an essential oil bottle, for instance. The jars are brown. That means they protect what's inside from the sun. That's really important. You will want to keep your essential oils that are in the jar fresh. If you make a kit out of jam jars, for instance, with clear glass, those essential oils can go off very quickly. So that's why we choose amber glass. And then in the bottom of the kit, of the jar, I've got a little round pad, a sort of circle. We use special pads in our kits that are designed to keep the smell fresh for long and really hold the fragrance. But it's fine if you use heavy, undyed paper, like watercolor paper that you can get in any department store from, like children's art paper, that kind of thing. That's enough of that. Let's get going. So I'm going to take the lid off. This is bergamot. This is something that I've made for my own collection. And I'm going to put my nose right down to the jar. And I'm going to take some really tiny sniffs. So if you've been here on day 1 and day 2, you've heard me talk about bunny sniffs. I'm imagining that you can't even really see that I am sniffing. These are really tiny sniffs, just enough to bring the air to the right place. And while you're doing it, concentrate. Right, that's jar number 1. Quick sip of tea. Sorry about my voice. Right, now we're going to go on to the next one. I have lavender here. And I want you to really think about what you're doing. If you are someone who really can't smell very much right now, don't worry about that too much. Just see what kind of experience you think you can have. We are less interested in what you're smelling than how you are thinking about your exercise. It is the brain that is the main thing here, not what you've got in the jar. So keep taking tiny sniffs. It might help to close your eyes to really get that concentrating mind working. And I don't know about you, but every smell training experience for me where I really feel like I'm getting a smell is in itself really joyful. And a recent study has shown that smell training also lifts mood. They've done one study on that, and I think that's a really important message to pass on to you as well. Right, the third one. This one's rosemary. For me, that's really wonderful. While you're taking your tiny sniffs, Don't forget to take a break. Take a nice big lung full of air. I mean, I don't want you to pass out because you're just taking tiny bunny sniffs. I see people are waving. I'm waving back to you. The real life villain is saying that they completely lost their sense of smell in the last 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised if you had a case of COVID. We are also in our group, so we've got a lot of people on our social media platforms who are taking a very long time to recover. But what's really interesting is that people in the first wave from 2020, we are still getting recovery stories from them. So while it seems to be taking longer than usual, than let's say people who had lost their sense of smell from a simple virus, as I did in 2012, recovery from COVID seems to be taking a little bit longer. So don't lose heart. And the one thing that we know works, for which there is really good scientific evidence, more coming on all the time about smell training, is that it is really good. It improves the sense of smell, and that's just it. The problem is that you have to stick with it, and that's why I'm here with you every day for the next month to help you build that habit. And finally, black pepper. Again, little bunny sniffs. It's always a mystery to me. Black pepper smells, the essential oil smells completely different from what I think black pepper tastes like, but doesn't matter. You could just as easily smell train with a ball of rubber bands, and I'll be talking to you about that at some point in the future. Okay, that's enough for today. We've got all of these Smell Training Live events are stored in our Instagram account, so you can go and look at them. I think they're in stories, but don't quote me on that. I've got somebody helping me do this, so I'm not really the Instagram brain. It's been great that you've come. Don't forget, you have to stick with it, and really you need to be smell training twice a day for a minimum of 4 months. It's easy. I'll be with you. You can always go back and listen to earlier ones over again if you want to, if you want guidance for your second smell training event of the day. But I'm here to cheer you on. Thank you for turning up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.